When the sun goes down, the stars come out. From deep in the heart of Texas, it's the Star at Night. Coming to you from the Cowboys facility at the Star in Frisco. With your hosts, Kelsey Charles and David Hellman.
Hey everyone, Kelsey Charles here, and I am joined by the one and only David Hellman, and you are tuning in to another episode of The Star at Night. Welcome to it. Dave, you know, I feel like it's been about 6 weeks in between our previous football game and this one, but tomorrow night, we actually do have an NFL football game the Dallas Cowboys are playing in, so I kind of want to talk about it.
I'm losing my ever-loving mind. It'll be 12 days by the time they finally play. And oh, by the way, there was no bye week. That's just the world we're living in. Thanks to the global pandemic. I mean, I know we got bigger problems, but good Lord, can we play this game? Yeah.
Well,
tell me about it.
Let's talk about it, because I think there's been a lot of discussions around who is actually going to be playing the game. And I'd love to get your thoughts on the final players, at least what we are thinking is going to be the lineup going onto the field. Obviously, last week against the Steelers, the Ravens put on the field not Lamar Jackson because he's on the COVID reserve list, but actually RG3. Well, unfortunately for the Dallas Cowboys, that's not going to be the case this week. Lamar is now activated, so the chances of them maybe getting to take advantage of some weaknesses have diminished a little bit, if you will. So how are you feeling now that we have a better idea of the true picture of what this game is going to shake out to be?
Lamar's back. Mark Ingram is back. J.K. Dobbins is back. Calais Campbell is back. So basically the Ravens were like, okay, we're putting the A-team back out here. Everybody got their week to get better. Maybe you remember last year, our favorite quote of the season perhaps was Mark Ingram when he was like, come see me. I'm in B-more. That's how I feel.
Combine me.
We're gonna have to go see him, and I'm not looking forward to it because
big trust.
Listen, I know the Ravens are not what they were last year, but that talent is still there.
Better than us.
The vast majority of it is going to be on the field. Yeah, Mark Andrews, the leading receiver, their ace tight end, he's not playing. Damn near everybody else is back, and I'm not feeling very big trust about it, to be honest.
All right. So while we do not trust that this is going to be an easy matchup for this Dallas Cowboys team.
Oh, did we mention that Donovan Wilson's out. Anthony Brown is out also, by the way. So the Cowboys also have their share of problems. Yeah, sorry.
All right. Well, thank you. That makes me feel not great at all. But I do want to dive into a further matchup that has flown under the radar, but maybe not, because it feels like it's been one of the only positive talking points to come out of this potential game on Tuesday night. Dez Bryant, obviously you all know and love him, or maybe you don't love him, but maybe you still should. He is going to be facing off against his former team. Do you realistically think that he will get any significant action against the Dallas Cowboys come Tuesday night?
History suggests, well, maybe not history, but the season suggests no. I mean, like, it's an awesome story. I'm beyond happy for Dez, one of my favorite Cowboy players that I've ever covered. Actually wrote a big story about him on DallasCowboys.com, if anybody wants to read it. But the guy's only got 4 catches for 28 yards in 3 games. So, you know, he ain't that Dez. At least he hasn't been to this point. Now, would it be very fitting if he blew up against a depleted Dallas secondary? Of course it would be. I sort of don't think that's going to happen, though. It's a cool storyline. I want nothing but the best for Dez, but I think the Cowboys have bigger problems than him going into this matchup, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, while Dez celebrates coming back onto the playing field this season and what he will hope is going to be a nice game against his former team, we are going to go ahead and celebrate a victory of our own with our very special guest coming up next. He's got a milestone that we brought him on to make sure we celebrated. Scott Hanson with NFL Network's Redzone joining us next.
Hi guys, Mickey Spagnoli here, and if you want the best analysis on the Dallas Cowboys during the season, join us every day during the week on Mix Shots. We come on at 1:30 on DallasCowboys.com and all the other Dallas Cowboy platforms. I'm on there every day along with Bill Jones and former Cowboys cornerback Everson Walls, who gives us a unique perspective on the team, having played this game and having led this team in interceptions for several years. So don't forget, it's Mix Shots daily, 1:30 on DallasCowboys.com.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the show. And yeah, it's a little bit weird. It's a Monday and the Cowboys have yet to play. They go on Tuesday night football, tomorrow night I guess it is. But in the meantime, we are actually going to recap a very special Sunday for our guest, NFL Network's own Scott Hanson, Scott coming off his 200th episode of NFL Redzone, which
Incredible.
we're gonna get into it. Like, fantastic job bringing the NFL to every fantasy football and ADD riddled fan that's out there. I think, fair to say you've revolutionized it. But I gotta, the one thing that is tip of my mind as a guy, anybody that knows me knows I have the smallest bladder on planet Earth. How? And I know, people joke all the time that you don't take bathroom breaks during these, 7 and 8 hour shifts. How do you do it? Do you not drink coffee on Sundays? Just take me through.
He just dives into the hard-hitting questions.
Take me through this routine. I got to know.
The number one question I get in my life, and as long as I host NFL Red Zone, it'll be the number one question. By the way, I keep a running list of media members who are incapable of taking my job from me. So I'm going to put you down there on the list there, if that's cool.
There's no chance.
Add me
There's
too.
no chance.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Got to keep the gravy train rolling here for myself. But I could take a bathroom break. I just don't, because not only am I the host of the show, I'm a fan. I'm a massive fan of the game. And I always feel like if I take a bathroom break, walk down the hallway, turn off my microphone, walk down the hallway for 2 minutes, do my business, come back, then I'm going to miss the greatest touchdown ever. And I'll still have my earpiece in and I'll hear it and they'll say, Lamar Jackson with a 99-yard touchdown run, dodging through 10 different tacklers, all this type of stuff. And I will have missed it. And there's something about it where I'm like, I'm not going to leave. So if I can do it biologically, I'm going to do it. And the method is I watch what I eat and what I drink starting on Saturday night. On Sunday morning, I'm talking to you guys from Los Angeles, where the studio is located. I like to be the first one in the studio. I'm in a little after 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. We have a chef at the cafeteria at the network that cooks me the same dense protein, salty breakfast so that I can retain water. I have basically I don't drink coffee either. I don't drink coffee. I just don't like coffee. Sure. I'm naturally energetic, so I don't need the caffeine.
You and me both.
And there you go. And then that helps with not having to, use the facilities later on during the day. And then I cut off all my liquids about 3 hours before the show. And then it's the willpower of a ninja for 7 hours and dedication to the audience.
Yeah.
You have a strategy, and I respect the hell out of that. I just want you to know.
It's
I appreciate
impressive.
that. Hey, look it. So it's like the players that we love and that we cover for our favorite teams. If you don't have a plan, you can't just roll out there on Sunday and expect it to happen the right way.
All right. So 200 episodes, 12 seasons, 10,000 touchdowns. I mean, you have your own stat lines. We talk about players, but you, sir, are impressive. I've got to ask, though, has there been a moment, a play, a sequence of events, like games that all came down to the line at the same time that really stands out to you in your tenure with Redzone?
Yeah, boy, you go back to, there's so many moments. We flash back to the very first touchdown on NFL Red Zone, and we actually did a little bit more math. We think we've done over 12,000 touchdowns. I know we put out on social media over 10,000 touchdowns just to be like a nice round number, but I think it's actually over 12,000. And there are so many different fantastic moments because when there's 7, 8, 9 games in the early window, that 2 or 3 of those a week are going to produce some kind of fantastic finish. You don't know which 2 or 3 will, but if you know if you're watching NFL Red Zone, you're going to see it. Whether or not it's the Hail Murray from just a few weeks ago with Arizona winning on the final play of the game, or whether a couple years ago it was the Miami Dolphins beating the New England Patriots on the 8 different laterals running around last play of the game, no time on the clock, and Rob Gronkowski can't make a tackle inside the 5-yard line, jaw-dropping finish. Those games aren't national TV games. So if you're with us, you're going to see all of those. And we had 3 games, actually. I'll give you a quick story. We had 3 games back in RG3's rookie year, which was also Russell Wilson's rookie year. And the Seahawks had a game against the Patriots that came down to the final seconds. The then Washington Redskins had a game that came down to the final seconds. And simultaneously, there was an Arizona Cardinals game that was coming down to the final seconds. So we went triple box, and it went like this. Bottom of the screen, RG3 trying to run out the clock. Washington had the lead at that point. RG3 trying to run out the clock. A first down will ice the game, and instead, he broke away for a 76-yard touchdown run at FedEx Field. Remember, Washington's been looking for a franchise quarterback forever. They thought they finally had their guy, the number 2 pick in the draft, who would look good throwing the football. And, of course, the dual threat Heisman Trophy winner coming out of Baylor. When he broke away for the 76-yard touchdown, when all he needed was a first down, the place went ape. Then, 5 seconds later, Russell Wilson, a little-known rookie quarterback, remember he wasn't a first-rounder, throws a 50-yard bomb with like 60 seconds left to go in the game and hits Sidney Rice for what would be the game-winning touchdown to beat Tom Brady and the Patriots in Seattle in front of the 12s. That crowd goes nuts. 5 seconds after that, Arizona at home, Jay Feely, the kicker for the Cardinals at the time, tries like a 45, 50-yard game-winning field goal at the end of regulation, and it leaks, and stoinks off the upright, goes back onto the field of play, and it sends that game into overtime. All 3 of those things happened within 15 seconds of each other, and we covered it in the triple box, and afterwards we were all like, whoa, this is on.
I feel so self-conscious right now because I think you remember something that happened in 2012 better than I remember the events of like September. Like that's how long this season has felt.
Well, you know, the show is all ad-libbed, so having my little lizard brain packed with as much football history, stats, facts, nostalgia is beneficial for the career.
So I'm really curious. You know, the Cowboys Ravens are playing this, you know, pretty unprecedented Tuesday night game. You know, going to be on Fox, coverage on NFL Network tomorrow, starting I believe at 4:30 Central Time. But first of all, I feel like, at the risk of sounding conceited, maybe your relationship with the Cowboys is a little bit different because of all the teams in the league. I got to guess the Cowboys are one of the teams that plays the fewest of those, you know, early window 9 games on at a time games. So what's your relationship with that? Just a team that seems to be on national TV so much more than others. And then it's got to feel easy for you watching a standalone game when you're so used to watching 10 at a time.
Yeah, both great points. And the first one is a great question because we all know that every year on the schedule release day, the Dallas Cowboys will have the full maximum complement of national TV games. So you would think for the Red Zone host that, it's not that great because we don't get the Cowboys, or we get the Cowboys less frequently than we do other teams. That's not an issue. In fact, it's the opposite. Because the Dallas Cowboys are featured on national TV, we try and cultivate one of the greatest fan bases in all of professional sports, not just the NFL, in the Dallas Cowboy fans. Because when 7, 8, 9 games kick off in the early window at noon Central Time, what are Cowboy fans doing? When they're waiting to play on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football or Tuesday Night Football or whenever it is, the Cowboy fans still love the game, and they still play fantasy football. They still want to see what's going on in the rest of the NFC East or just in the rest of the NFL with the jaw-dropping plays. The Cowboy fans to us are available to bring into the Red Zone tent. So you would think it would be like, oh, well, the Cowboys aren't on that much, and we love the Cowboys like all 32 teams. But that's okay because we can serve that audience while they're waiting for their national TV game. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Okay, so I have a final question for you, because obviously we know where to find you on Sundays, but it seems like in the off season you are checking off your bucket list. You've been diving with sharks, great whites, hiking the Great Wall of China, running with the bulls. So you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie on top of being a sports fan too. So while you're checking off your personal bucket list, I gotta ask, what's at the top of your sports bucket list?
Ooh, good question. When you did your homework too, I can tell. So hosting a show that basically is nice. Yeah, hosting a show that is pure adrenaline for my career. You would think that I would just like crawl into a cave or go into hibernation or catch up on all the commercials I missed during football season after the Super Bowl. But I've just grown into wanting to experience as much of life as I possibly can. So yeah, I have climbed Kilimanjaro and gone in great white shark cage diving and swam in the Amazon River and done some kind of, exotic type thrilling things. Sports bucket list. I mean, I've done all the major 4 sports. I've been to obviously multiple Super Bowls. I've been to the World Series. I've gone to the NBA Finals. I've gone to the Stanley Cup Finals. Couple of things I have not done. I've never been to a heavyweight championship fight, like a Vegas big event weekend heavyweight fight. I've never been to the Kentucky Derby. I've been to Churchill Downs, but never been to the Kentucky Derby. I've never been to the World Cup in a foreign country. So I would like to maybe one year if the World Cup, I'm not a huge soccer guy, but I love action and I love massive events, and like soccer is obviously the world sport. So I would love just to go check it out. I would go see a cricket World Cup match. If people are passionate about it, I can get into it. I can tap into it. I could go have fun at the Tiddlywinks competition. I mean, I actually went to Japan one time. I went to the Grand Sumo tournament in Japan. And I think I was the only guy with my complexion there in the entire arena. And I didn't understand half of the stuff that was going on. I mean, it's about pushing big guys, in that circle. I knew that, but the ceremony and the history of it, I was just trying to take it all in and see the passion that the fans that know the sport had for it. So I could get into just about anything. So if you got tickets to hook your boy up to any of those events.
Hey, it might not be on foreign soil, but hopefully AT&T Stadium here in DFW can get a World Cup match here before too long. So maybe we can help you out with that. But hey, like Kelsey mentioned, Scott, we know where to find you on NFL Sundays. If anybody curious, you can find him on Twitter at Scott Hanson. And hey, congrats on 200. Honestly, here's to 200 more, because I'm not blowing smoke. I think y'all are one of the best things about the modern NFL. So thanks for joining us, and please keep it up.
Guys, you're a lot of fun. Great show, and enjoy Tuesday Night Football as well.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And Kelsey and I will be right back after this.
Hey there, everybody. Kyle Yeomans here with DallasCowboys.com, and I encourage all of you Cowboys fans out there to check out Talking Cowboys. The podcast is every week live on the website and on all social platforms at 9:30 every weekday morning. We've got myself alongside Isaiah Stanback, who's actually won one of those during his playing career as a former Dallas Cowboy. He won it with the Giants, but we'll forgive him for that. We've also got Heckma Harrison along with Dallas Cowboys insider Rob Phillips. It's a ton of fun every weekday morning at 9:30. Check it out on DallasCowboys.com.
All right, Dave. So have you ever heard of Elf on a Shelf?
I have, yes.
Well, this season we are bringing you Wentz on a Bench. So that's not mine. I did not come up with that line, but I am going to steal it, and I am going to perpetuate it. All right. Funny. So, I really do want to dive into the NFC East, if you will, because there's been some teams winning games, and it hasn't been the Eagles, and it hasn't been the Cowboys. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts first, though. I mean, were you surprised that Carson Wentz was benched and Jalen Hurts was actually put in the game? It wasn't just for a series. Like, he straight up finished out the rest of the game for this team.
People thought we were kidding. People thought it was a meme on Cowboys Twitter. Oh, Jalen Hurts is going to start for Philly at some point. Newsflash. You don't spend a top 100 pick on a quarterback if you're not going to play him. Hey, Philly, the truth hurts, don't it? No, I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. Like, look, I honestly, I think Carson Wentz is a better player overall than a lot of people want to give him credit for. Just in general, I still think he can be successful down the line. He is awful right now. Like, truly horrendous, especially for a guy that's playing on a massive second contract. No, Philly needed to get him out of there. I think he needs to like take a step back and just like recharge, recalibrate. I think there's a lot of mental stuff going on with Carson Wentz right now. And Jalen Hurts gave him a spark. So no, I wasn't surprised, and I won't be surprised if that's not the last time he starts for Philly over the last month of the year.
Does that make you feel like this Philadelphia team might be able to make a run? Because again, the NFC East has just been wide open for whoever wants to at least make some semblance of an effort. Granted, we'll dive into New York here in a minute because it seems like they've gone ahead and cemented that first spot, at least for the time being. But are you feeling threatened by what Philadelphia can bring to the table with Hurts at the helm?
No, I'm absolutely not. I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe this is famous last words, but I think Philly's dead in the water. Even more, we love to bag on the Cowboys in the season they've had. I think Philly's more done than they are. Philly still has to play the Saints, by the way. Oh, and they're getting Drew Brees back. So they just played Seattle and Green Bay. Now they finish it off with the top team in the NFC right now. No, I'm not threatened by anything that Philly's doing. I'm much more curious about this Giants team that found a way to hold Russell Wilson to 12 points. And by the way, has won 5 of 7 games somehow.
I would love to talk about the Jason Garrett and Colt McCoy fighting New York Giants, who are winning games and atop the division. What in the world? That defense is quietly very nice. Like, they've got Leonard Williams playing really well. They hemmed Russell Wilson in completely yesterday. Jabril Peppers, who was such a ballyhooed prospect coming out of the draft, he's finally playing like a first-round type of pick. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because the schedule's not easy. Like, they're going to get Daniel Jones back at some point, but they've still got to play Arizona. Cleveland and Baltimore are still on the schedule. So we're talking, and they deserve a lot of credit, but we'll see just how good they are over the next 3 weeks. They finish up the season with Dallas, which that's obviously not looking like a super hard game. But these next 3, I'm curious to see how they do, because if I had to pick the NFC's winner right now, I'd probably say the Giants, but it's not going to be easy for them. Me too. All right, well, you heard it from the man himself. I think the NFC East is going to New York, but I guess there is still some time. Do we finally get to watch a Cowboys game at some point? Like, do we get to see what they look like after 12 days off? Because we might be back here later this week being like, ooh, maybe the Cowboys are good again. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but you never know. Hey, listen, wishful thinking, because Washington's playing right now and Cowboys play tomorrow. So things are happening in this division, and hopefully they will play in the favor of our Navy and Silver team. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. It's been another fun one in the books. We've got some pretty good guests coming on the show this week, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. For David Hellman and producer Kaden, I am Kelsey Charles. Another episode of The Star at Night. We will see you guys next time.